Have you ever left class feeling amazing, like you understood something so well, and then went to the next class and tried to apply that same knowledge, and then all of a sudden found yourself stuck? This episode is for you. We're going to be unlocking the idea of non-attachment learning and relieving yourself through the idea that progress is not linear and that you're never in the same body twice. Hello, my beautiful, gorgeous dance baby, and welcome to another episode of More Than Dance. So I want to share with you a story, and it's about me and my ballet experience. And if you don't know, I take ballet lessons with this amazing teacher. Her name is Katya, and we met online, and I met her one time in person when I went to New York City to visit her. And I love learning ballet with her because she knows my exact goals, being learning ballet in a more thorough, deep way than I ever learned ballet, in a more anatomical way, in a way from the viewer of a teacher versus a viewer of a student. And I adore these lessons. They are so special to me. So shout out Katya, love you. And today we had this aha moment. There's always an aha moment. It's kind of like therapy. And it kind of goes like this. Oh, that's where we were holding tension, because the body is always going to hold tension. I mean, sit down right now and you can feel where your body's holding tense. So you might be able to just relax that right now and just think, oh, I feel it in my neck area, and take a breath and use breath to release that and get that out. Well, sometimes no matter how much breath you're doing in dance, there still might be something that's grabbing on. And today it was my head. And last week, it was my lats. And I had this thought today. I was like, oh my gosh, well, it wasn't my lats. She goes, well, it moved somewhere, but it didn't move out completely. It's going to find itself somewhere else inside your body. So here we are now thinking about the head. And I'm like, what a cool lesson to talk to you about how your body will show up differently to class. And what I want you to think about is a day where you went to class and you learned something, and maybe you had an aha moment. Maybe you had a correction. Maybe there was something that you understood within your own body, or maybe it was a conceptual understanding. And then you took that exact thing, right? Because we like to be exact, especially my perfectionists. We like to take, oh, this is the lesson. I will put that into this practice. And you bring it into the other lesson. You brought it into the next class, and you were like, how can I utilize this aha moment in this class? And here's the answer. The answer is it might not be applicable that day. Imagine, and I wasn't even really thinking about this when I was doing my lesson. I was thinking later as I was reflecting, because you know I love a good reflection. Imagine if I was so obsessive about my lats and that wasn't even where my tension was today. Imagine if I was putting all of my thought into lats, 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 loosen up, breathe, breathe. But really it was all in my head. Not in my head, but in my head. So I think this is a really great activity to do where you're learning something and you're taking something, and we do talk about this a lot, where we are making this gigantic dance soup and we're putting things into our pot and we're letting them simmer. We're letting them stew. They're stewing overnight. They're stewing for days. It's going to be the best, most deep tasting stew soup you've ever tasted. So here's the strategy. Take that little glimmer of what you learned, that big aha, that little piece of information that helped you with that class. Add it to your soup and know that your next class, you might be looking for that same ingredient and you might need a different ingredient. And the reason is because our body changes. So between a day, between an hour, our body changes. It shifts. I mean, a second ago, I was walking around and then I sat here and did a podcast and I got up and I was like, oh, my body feels different. Our bodies are always changing. Your tension patterns shift, and we might have a path of tension that is always the same. Like you might be a person who always grips in their neck and their shoulders. That might be a pattern, but even within that pattern, there might be differences. Your awareness evolves. So it could be that you're in the car for a longer period of time, and because of that, you're sitting up in a different way than you were the week before when you were maybe lounging on the couch for more time. And then also, learning is layered. It is not linear. And I can remember the first time I ever learned this phrase firsthand, and it was when I was powerlifting, and I was really working on healing my knee without surgery. And I was thinking that this route was something I had not tried yet. So I actually don't recommend it for dancers. If you're considering, oh, cool, like powerlifting, I'd like to get into that. In my opinion, I don't think that's the best thing that a dancer could do. It really messes with your flexibility in a way that I wish I never tampered with. At the same time, though, it was very helpful for my strength within my legs. So I can't quite say that I wish I didn't do it. I think I wish I could have done it and not have destroyed my flexibility. But that wasn't the option, is it? Either or in that situation. Either you do it or you don't do it. And if you're not doing it, you didn't do it. So when I was powerlifting, this came to mind because I was looking at strength. We were hardcore. My trainer and I mean, I'm sure he still is. I'm not anymore, but I was writing down the amount of weight for each rep. I was writing down the reps. And then there were discoveries like, how did I lift less weight this week? It feels heavier. And I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe if I had lifted something like the past week and it felt easy breezy. And then that week it would feel like maybe I added 40 pounds onto it. That's how heavy sometimes it would feel. And it would be the same weight or less. And his answer, progress is not linear. And, there's different discoveries with that too, because it's like whatever you ate is going to contribute to your energy. Whatever you drank is going to contribute to your energy. And when you're on such a strict diet like I was at that time, everything counts. And it counts in a very big way. So if I had one less bit of fat ounce in my diet, then I would feel that depletion of energy. And so therefore pushing that much weight would feel really hard. Bringing this back to the dance floor, your body is going to show up differently. I mean, think about it in terms of stress. You might have a different week of stress that feels like you can handle it. It's just kind of like that's my week. And then the next week might be all of your deadlines and, surprise visit from your in-laws and someone is going to their doctor's appointment because they have an ear infection or your dog swallowed a shoelace and you have to figure out how to get it out. These parts in our schedule, these moments of stress, these factors that contribute to our daily lives, contribute also to ourselves on the dance floor. And that's why it's so beautiful to set an intention before class, because it's taking a minute to set your awareness around where you are. Where are you today? How are you feeling today? How'd you wake up? How'd you sleep? What'd you drink? How much water did you have? Did you fuel yourself properly? And when you can create that awareness, not only can you have more leeway and forgiveness with yourself when progress is not linear, you can also make room for adaptations. So knowing, last week I needed this reminder. This week I need a different reminder. Believe it or not, whatever I was working on last week is going so easy for me right now. And this, for whatever reason, I'm having trouble staying focused. That's my skill that I want to work on today. That's my intention for class because I'm so stressed. I want to think about focus versus thinking about the elongation of my leg in this exact line or in this exact pattern. Class is going to feel different all the time. Your needs are different all the time. Not to keep talking about food, but think about it in terms of your cravings. Sometimes I really, really want a chocolate chip cookie. And sometimes you could have it in front of me and I might be like, I'll just have one or I'll have two. And sometimes I want like all of them. This can be really funny if you're feeling like you've mastered something in one class and then the next class, it's like gone. You're like, wait, I lost it. You didn't lose it. It's in hideout. It's in hibernation. You don't need it today. The progress isn't gone. It's like redistributed in somewhere else in your body. So we call this non-attachment because if you are attached, that means not only are you attached to finding your aha moment every class, it also means that you're attached to the thing that you learned last year that might not be aligned with you this year. I think about this a lot in terms of the business world. When I'm doing the behind the scenes things with my business, I think about the things that worked really well in 2019. And I think about doing those. That's such a pivotal year for me because it's the year that I met Joshi and it's the year right before COVID. And for whatever reason, that year is just really crystal clear as like a marker for my life, which actually is kind of funny because things happen in sevens, like with your life, and that'd be like a 7-year marker till now. So if I think about what was serving me back then, I don't know if it would serve me right now. The lessons I was learning then, if I was so steadfast on embracing those lessons every day, how can I incorporate this lesson that I learned back then now? Well, I'm a different me now. It's easier to see when there's years in between, but you're a different me now a day later, an hour later. I'm a different me tomorrow. So the way I'm going to show up if I had ballet tomorrow, the way I'd show up would be different. So it's yes, take what you learned with you. And yes, notice patterns. And yes, stay curious. And also try not to grip on to things. Try not to obsess about those things that you're learning. Try not to force consistency. I find that when I'm forcing movement and I'm like, okay, let me do it. Let me do another. My body doesn't need me to do it again. My body needs it to just sit on the stove and simmer and stew. There's a timing for when I will master that. And it's not right now. There's a timing for when I'll know that the tension was in my head versus my lat. When we obsess, we actually freeze our learning because that becomes what we're focused on versus all the tens of thousands of other things we can focus on. I don't know if it's that many. You can think of it though, in terms of, we'll say 50 for an even number. Focusing on one skill and forgetting about the 49 other skills. I would rather pay attention to what my body is doing easily that day and heighten that. So if I'm having a really great time with facials, I might play into that. And that might help me feel good. And because I'm feeling good, that other thing that I'm having trouble on might be easier just because my mindset is different, just because I forgot about it in a weird way, because I wasn't obsessive about it. So if I had one phrase for you to take with you today, it's that you don't need to hold on to the lesson. Your body will remember when necessary. So when it's time for me to reignite with my lat, even though that wasn't today's focus, I'll be like, oh yeah, oh that's right, I can loosen up through there. So the next time you're in class, please allow yourself to embrace where you currently are that day versus where you were yesterday, versus where you were last week or where you were the year before, and know that there's always a beautiful lesson for you to learn that day that is more aligned with who you currently are. If this was helpful at all, I would absolutely love to ask you to share this on your Instagram, Facebook, or with a friend. It's one of the best ways that this podcast can be shared with people just like you who are on their dance journey. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the dance floor.